In this video, we will show you how to replace your window regulator on this Dodge Dakota. The window regulator will be located behind your inside door panel. Let's get started. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. We're going to make our way right over here with a plastic trim tool and remove this trim panel, which houses the window switch and mirror switch. We'll carefully get underneath the backside here. Once we start getting this to pop free, we can roll it forward. Underneath this area, you're going to find that you have a plastic hook that goes underneath the door panel. Let's turn this over and start disconnecting our wiring harnesses. On each of the wiring harnesses, you're going to find you have a square tab that you can squeeze in and gently pull this down and off. Every time you disconnect an electrical connector, go ahead and take a peek. If you see any funny colors, it's corrosion and that would need to be dealt with. We'll continue down the line. Now let's move along to removing this tray. Inside of it, you'll find that you have a Phillips head screw. Remove that. We'll use our plastic trim tool, get underneath this area and pry it up. Quick inspection on that. Set it aside. Let's use our small pocket screwdriver. We'll come right inside this area to open this trap door. Behind that, you'll find a Phillips head screw. Remove that. Now let's make our way to the bottom of the door panel. You should find two Phillips head screws. One in this area, ours is missing. Follow it towards the speaker, and you'll find the second one. Remove the pair. Now let's grab onto that door panel and gently lift it up. On the inside, you're going to find a rod that leads to the inside door handle. On this, there's a blue connector. Go ahead and grab onto that and dislodge it from the rod. Now you can lift the rod up and out. Remove the door panel. Now that we have the door panel out of the way, let's continue on to removing the vapor barrier from the area. We are going to be reusing this, so try hard not to tear it as you remove it. We'll just make our way around, gently pulling it away. All this black stuff you can see here is called butyl tape. It's extremely sticky, and if it gets on your clothes, it will ruin them. Just use my trim tool to carefully start separating this, make my way all the way around. We can leave this on down near the speaker. You don't have to remove the speaker for this job. There we are. I'll just push this aside for now. With that out of the way, the next thing we need to do is use something to be able to hold the window in the upright position. Commonly, you can either use some suction cups with a strap that goes up and over the door, or just use some tape, whatever you have. We'll use quite a bit of tape on this because obviously tape is cheaper than a window. Once you're sure the window is secured, we're going to continue on to the two 10mm headed bolts that hold the window regulator to the window. You'll find one through this squared out notch here, and then a second one through this hole. When we do this, you only need to loosen the bolts. You don't need to fully remove them. The window regulator has a little clamshell that as you tighten it, it squeezes together. Once you loosen it, it releases the window. Let's reattach our window switch. You don't have to worry about the mirror switch for this. The next thing you want to do is put the key in the on position and power the driver's side window down. turn off the key and disconnect the switch. Now we can move along to disconnecting the wiring that leads to the motor. If you were to follow this wire right here, in and through this hole, you'll find the electrical connector right on the window motor. I'll just reach up in here, squeeze on the locking tab, and gently pull it down. Give it a quick check for corrosion, and then you can set this aside. Now we can move along to our three 10mm headed bolts that hold the window motor to the door. Now we're going to have three more 10mm headed bolts that hold the window regulator to the door. We'll start with the two along the bottom, and then we'll move to the top. Make sure you're holding the window regulator as you fully remove the last bolt. Remove the window regulator from the door. There it is, friends. Okay, friends, let's get ready for our installation. Let's start with the metal aspect of the window regulator. We want to make sure that we start in the top bolt first. We'll put this in just a few threads. Now we can slide the unit into the vehicle. Once we do, we're going to be putting this mounting bolt through this hole and sliding it down into its original position. Now we can make our way to the lower bolt holes, start in each of those mounting bolts as well. Now let's reach inside, we'll grab that motor. You want to try to align it with all three of its mounting holes. As we remove the bolts, we had the one black bolt that goes in the singular hole over here, and then the two other bolts go inside these two holes. Make sure these are nice and tight as well. Now let's make our way back inside the door here and connect our window motor. Just take those two wire connectors, line them up, and lock them in. Once you have it connected, give it a tug to make sure it's completely secured together. Now let's move down to this area of the window regulator. We're going to loosen each of these two mounting bolts. Looking at this area, once I loosen this, it's going to open up that clamshell just enough on each side that we can power up the window regulator and put the window in between the area of the clamshell. At that point, we would just continue on by tightening it up. You can see that it's nice and open. Reconnect your window switch. Put the key in the on position. Let's start powering this up. We'll go nice and slow as we get close to the window. We don't want it to bind or break the window in any way. There we are. Tighten your two mounting bolts. Go ahead and remove that tape and test the window functionality. Perfect. Remove the key and remove the window switch. Now we can put on the vapor barrier. We're going to be taking our wiring and put it through the vapor barrier. Go right through here. All 3 wiring harnesses are in the proper place. Make sure this area fits over that. This should go around the door lock. And then at that point, you can continue on to reapplying the vapor barrier to the original position as when you had removed it. Grab this rod. Make sure this is out here as well. As you're aligning it, you should make sure that each one of these little notches matches up. All right, let's prepare to install our door panel. As we do, we want to make sure we take all 3 of our wiring harnesses and put it up and through the door panel. While we're doing that, we're also going to be paying attention to this area right here. You want the rod to fit right into this area of the inside door handle and then lock it in with the tab. Swing this over. We'll give that a wiggle. As we continue by putting the door panel up against the door, you'll find that you have several hooks along the door panel. And if you were to look at the door itself, you'll find that you have notches for each of those hooks to fit into. So while we put this into place, we're going to come up nice and high. You want to be paying attention to the lock. It needs to go through the corresponding hole. You also have this top corner up here. This has a little tab on it. You want to make sure that that fits into its corresponding slot on this as well. With all that said, let's go ahead and put this in position. We'll make our way along, trying to line all of those tabs into their corresponding holes. Once it feels like everything's pressed in, go ahead and slide the door panel down to lock it in position. Once you're sure you have the door panel in place, we're going to continue on with our large Phillips head screw. Go ahead and put that right in position on the inside door handle. Make sure that's nice and snug. We'll continue on with the trap door. Typically for this, it's supposed to pivot. Ours is broken. I'll just go ahead and put it right in here. Now we can move along to this piece. We remember we have the hole in the center. It needs to go right down into this bracket. We'll slide this into place and then put in our Phillips head screw holding it down. Continue on to your window switch and mirror switch. Let's connect this in. As we put this in place, we're going to start with the forward aspect right along here. Looking at the switch panel, you can see the tab that goes underneath the door panel. We'll come down at an angle, slide it under there, and then lock it down with the rear. Now we can move to the bottom of the door panel. When we had removed ours originally, we were missing a screw. I found one, so let's go ahead and put it in there. Okay friends, we've got the door back together. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.